we also would get $5 for a little laptop, and it wouldn't cost us much, or even keyboards and things like that. So a lot of times it balances out, but that's why I'm saying on the price thing this time that we should charge $5, $7, or $10, depending on the weight of the electronic item. Then that way we can cover ourselves a little bit better. So if something is heavier, then we charge more for it, and that should help us balance things out. And that last page is that kind of shows the history of all these years, all the tons of stuff and the money we took in, the money we paid out, and just amazing how much stuff people still have to get rid of every year, it seems like. There's always old appliances, there's always stuff to throw away. And we used to do this 3 days. We used to do it Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday morning. And we've, culled it down to just one morning. And we still take in an awful lot of stuff in that 8 to noon time frame, so. Otherwise, we had quite a bit of dead time sitting around waiting for something to happen, but.
And if somebody misses, they can take it up to Fillmore County in October.
Yeah, they can always do that. And I think the village is doing their cleanup at the same time. We only do one in the spring. The village used to have a spring and a fall one, and one year they were saying that, if somebody missed coming here, you could take your stuff out there and pay them their rates if you needed to, but we've only done it in the spring, and that seems to be sufficient for most of our needs, but. So, and of course you are all certainly invited to come work, do bookkeeping or haul the garbage, whichever one you want to do.
It's a fun time. This will be my 4th year. I'll let them be there if I'm not working.
I'll be there. Probably my 2nd or 3rd or 4th or 5th or whatever.
You end up taking more than
No.
all those TVs. I don't know what you do with them.
I'll tell you how about my TV.
We need another couch.
No, my house is not.
Lazy boy.
Now, where you might go, one of these recliners that has a massage unit in it and the whole works, kick back.
Okay.
I'll move that we approve the plans and pricing for the 25th annual spring cleanup event.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bunky, second by Mr. Dahl. Any questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes, thank you. 8G, wetlands.
Councilmember Bunky, Public Works Superintendent Copley, and I met with 3 folks from Soil and Water Conservation from the county on Friday, was it? I think it was Friday, Thursday or Friday. Went down to the new canoe launch site, which is adjacent to the Highway 43 bridge, on the east side of the bridge. And the purpose for that meeting was to have them walk it and give us their view as to whether there's any wetlands in that area, because we would have to have that answered before we do the design work on moving the canoe launch. And they seem to come to the determination that there's a small area in that large grassy field right now that they would consider as possibly a wetland. And they recommended that we hire someone to do an actual delineation of the soil. And what you do is you hire someone, they come out and they would go through the whole area, including through those trees where we want to put a road to the access road to the canoe site, and they would test the soils and test the vegetation. And they would then determine if there is some areas that would be considered wetlands, where those are, and we can then design around it. or we could create an equal or 2-for-1 wetland on our own to mitigate it, or we could buy wetland credits, which are going for $20,000 to $30,000 an acre, up somewhere else. So it's not quite as simple as we had hoped it would be. We don't know if there's actual wetlands in that area.
Is there a spotted owl?
There may be darter fish or something, I don't know, but it's better to be safe than sorry. If we build the canoe launch and we disturb an area that they determine to be a wetland, as I'm sure you know more than most,
It'll say a lot more.
it's not a situation of, begging for forgiveness. It's you're gonna pay through the nose.
Yep.
So and we don't need to make a decision right now, but if we want to proceed with the design, then I would recommend that we have it delineated. We hire someone to do that. They seem to think it was around $2,000 to $3,000 to hire someone to come in and do it. We would go out and bid the project out and have a couple of quotes.
So these people were VIPs,
No,
other than Copley or Purdue or whatever?
well, they certainly know more than I do about it, but
Yeah. I don't think there's any standing water down there.
that's not the criteria, unfortunately.
When they say buy credits elsewhere, to me that kind of implies if you give them enough money, they will,
That's exactly what it implies.
Really?
They build a wetland somewhere else.
you
Yeah,
give them
it
enough
does-
money and
does
they'll
go into a
fix it
fund
somewhere
for-
else?
For building what's.
So they don't really care so much about that one spot, but in the
Correct.
overall southeast Minnesota, someone else would get a
It could
chunk.
be up in the northern
Or
part of the state.
somewhere, anywhere, oh,
But it's a 2-for-1.
oh.
If you do it without asking, it can be more than that.
Much more.
So what about just down further to the east? Just develop a wetland there?
Yes, we could do that.
Yes,
That would be an option.
that'd be the least expensive in my estimation.
It would be least expensive to find out if there is one, and if there is, to design around it.
Where are we gonna put the band shell
The what?
in? Where are we gonna put the band shell in?
Band shell?
Did you find any names of certified?
I haven't looked
Building meters.
because I wanted to counsel the Spring Valley. They recommended someone from Spring Valley, and then that they used in a recent project, and then I would call a couple engineers and find out who they've used and get some quotes.
Well, I think we need to at least go forward and find out what it's gonna be. Otherwise, we'll never know. I guess that would be my feelings. Do you need a motion to move forward for quote?
I will, no, because I won't do anything that will cost any money. I'll just get some quotes, and we'll bring those back for council to consider it.
Sounds good. Okay, we on to 8H, supplemental MnDOT
This is the,
agreement.
if you recall, last year I was telling you that MnDOT wanted to go from the south end of the 43 bridge towards Highway 16 and mill and overlay the road surface that didn't get done when they redid 16 and 43. And so the best way for them to move forward with this project is to attach it to our 43 project. But they are going to pay for all of it, which is on the back page.